I think that Gruul is a better control deck than the blue-red giants.
Yeah. Wanna dive in? Do the same thing?
Yeah,
Start
go
with
on.
you.
We
Start
can
with
go cards in order. Yeah.
Sure. Blizzard Brawl
So
is a snow sorcery. 1 green mana.
yeah,
It says choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control. If you control 3 or more snow permanents, the creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Then those creatures fight each other, and fight meets each deals damage equal to its power to the other.
yeah,
So having 3
it's
snow
just a very
permanents,
good.
relevant.
As you can see, I built the Gruul as a snow Gruul.
Yeah.
But I think that there's other versions of Gruul. It's just the thing is that one thing that we maybe might need to change in our thinking is that Gruul is not the classic smash and don't think too much. This is more of a mid-range land management, splashy, maybe some snow synergy kind of deck. So we have to forget a bit about our old Gruul ways of 2-drop Savage Smash continue. This is more complicated than that. It's a big mana deck that wants to cast maybe some big spells later, but will not have those explosive starts.
Yeah, agree.
That's why, again, cheap removal suite for getting rid of the early threats like Frostbolt. And Frostbolt is better because, of course, this is a dedicated snow deck, so you'll get 3 sources easily.
Yeah, more likely. And 1 mana deal 3 is pretty nuts.
Traditionally considered good.
Snakeskin Veil is here, and then we move on to Arnie Slays the Trolls. It's the Gruul Saga. It costs 2 mana, 1 red, 1 green. It has 3 chapters like the other ones. First chapter, immediately the most impactful, I think. Target creature you control fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So, a fight spell on the first chapter.
So first of all, this card brings images of Schwarzenegger coming to the house of some kind of internet troll that harassed him on Twitter and then basically doing his job of Schwarzenegger things. So Arnie Slays the Troll, I think, is a nice name. The card is like, okay, it's a good saga, I guess. It's nothing special, but it does the job. It kills the creature probably when you play it right.
Yeah.
Gives you some mana and
yeah, gives you some counters, and you gain life. So these.
So when you think of it, this is exactly the green inscription, but split into 3 turns.
Yeah, I heard other people say that as well, and it does exactly that. And it is the kicked version of the green inscription, right?
Yeah, it just like split into 3 turns,
yeah,
which is good.
For only 2 mana, which is not just good. That's rather insane, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, they can get ready for some things. I guess that the good part of it comes that the fight happens first.
Right, and nobody is ready for a fight. Most Magic players aren't, at least.
Yeah, 1 extra mana is not bad.
No, I kind of like it. Yeah, I think this is a really strong card, right? I mean, we just compared it to a kicked green rare that costed you like 6 mana in total.
5,
but still.
Inscription was busted because you did all those things at the same time, so you also made your fighting creature bigger at the same time as it was fighting.
Right.
This one you have to fight with something smaller. Then if it survives, it can become bigger. So it's a bit less flexible. Of course, it's still good. It's still great. It's not broken. It's probably like a B-.
So you think it's worse than the? Yeah. Okay.
It's much worse than the Inscription because Inscription also in the kicker decks had kicker synergies and yeah.
No. I was going to say, so you think it's worse than the take an extra turn spell, and I'm not fully on board there. I think this is a solid B, but I might be wrong.
I might buy into it, but I think it's splitting hairs really. I think that it's just that.
Oh, it is splitting hairs. We like splitting hairs, right? That's why we're here.
I don't know if my grading is slightly different because I grade it in the context of the archetype it's going to be in.
Mm-hmm. And you don't like it that much?
On average, yeah. I think that on average, the extra turn card will be better in blue-white decks than this card will be in green-red decks.
Okay, fair enough. I can see that.
While the extra turn card is going to be a small star of the archetype, this is going to be a solid role player in, or maybe reward of this particular archetype, and I can see cards that are better.
Yep, I can see that. Okay, I spot a X-Guard Cavalry here, which is the 2/2 Dwarf Berserker. It's an early
Which
blocker.
Is an early blocker.
And how do you
but
like
it? Can enable late turns, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, we have quite some large creatures we will get to later, and I think this is quite a sweet one. Raven Wings, also to
That's reach.
Yeah, lift up your bigger creatures to get some damage.
And it's also, sometimes those decks have a problem with defending against flyers, so you can just put a blocker up in the air and just stop them from attacking you.
Yep, fair point. Sculptor of Winter you included too. What made you do that?
Well, this is your ramp. This is your ramp you play in this 8 snow-covered lands, but probably I would prefer having something like 10, maybe even. And if you can untap a snow permanent, or you can enchant a normal forest with the glittering frost again, you can generate quite some mana out of it.
Yeah. Another demon bolt. Dwarven Hammer is the next uncommon here. So another.
I think that this is the best of those equipments, and it's just a pure power card. It doesn't have any synergies except for making a big thing smash, which is sort of a tribute to the traditional Gruul builds.
Yeah, and also the fact that it only costs 5 in total to get the creature and the equipment is pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, the rate on this card is really good, and +3/+0 and trample. It's the one synergy it has is with the Ice Height Trolls.
Yep.
Because you can put them on yeah. So it's a 2/3 that can get +2/+0 and indestructible for 2 snow mana. And basically you put it on this one, you attack, activate it, it's indestructible, and it has 7 power and trample, which will end the game very quickly.
Yeah, fully agree. I really like that. I remember you mentioning during our stream together. You mentioned multiple combos with Dwarven Hammer. I'm really looking forward to playing with the card.
It's trample. Trample is a very underappreciated finishing mechanic. I think that flying is great, of course, but trample, sometimes you just can't do anything about it. And +3/+0 and trample, put it on the honey mammoth boy there, and you have a 9/6 trampler. What are you going to do with it? You can stomp, but that's more or less it.
Yeah, agree. Okay, just uncommon up. Oh no,
so we missed Horizon Seeker, which is
sorry, Horizon Seeker. You wanna
which is I think it's a decent card in those kind of archetypes, because sometimes you will be low on snow mana and it can get you the land, because it can get a basic land, snow covered lands. The basic snow covered lands count as basic lands, so you can get one of those.
Yep.
This can enable some splashes, because you can put one snow covered island, and then you can have some blue spells that are good with frost, like, I don't know, Bergstrider maybe.
Yeah.
So this is a quite useful thing to keep in the deck, and still a 3/2. They need to block it with something if they don't want you to get a second land out of it. So it will trade something and get you a card, which means that you're a card up, even if it's only a land.
Yeah, fully agree. Yeah, I like it too. Like Human Warrior, not the most interesting types here, I think. But
no, but
it's not a type deck.
I mean,
the ability is good.
Put Raven Wings on it and then start smashing. I think you'll quickly bury your opponent, because you will just deplete the lands and draw gas on your normal draw steps.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I like it. Okay.
I mean, you will kill them before that happens, but.
One of the cards that we like to splash is Jorn God of Winter, then especially the artifact backside.
Jorn Snow.
Jorn Snow. You know nothing.
Jorn Snow is I just put it there to again stress the snow strat synergies. But in this deck you could put so many things. You can put the rare red green saga, and then focus more on ramping your lands and getting more lands than the opponent, and killing some of their lands, and getting 3 or 4 trolls all of a sudden.
Yep.
So that's another thing. You can put any of the chunky things. The mythic Fortell Elephant is just insane. I mean, when you can play it on turn 4 as a 6/5 trampler, that whenever any creature you control gets targeted, you draw a card. It's just like, how do you win against that kind of opening? So yeah, there's plenty of good rares. I just picked Jorn Snow because because it's a snow deck and it should have it as a sort of like, why not
Yeah,
card.
fair enough.
And importantly, the second, the reverse side of it is blue black, and I think that you can easily, even in this red green deck, you can easily play the blue black side of it with some mana
Yeah, agreed.
from the next card, which I think is one of the better cards in the set and on uncommon level, or from the dual snowlands.
Yeah, it's Swella, the Ice Shaper. It's the Gruul uncommon, 3 mana, 1 generic, 1 red, 1 green. It's a legendary snow creature, troll warrior. It has 2 lines of text, 2 abilities basically. It's a 2/4. First line of text, pay 3 and tap it. Create a colorless snow artifact token named Icy Manalith with a
I
tap
agree, Jihash.
with a tap ability as well. Add 1 mana of any color. Second ability, 6 generic, 1 red, 1 green, and also tap it to look at the top 4 cards of your library, and now it becomes interesting. You may cast a spell from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And I agree as well. This card is nuts.
This is the classic the Wizards modern design like Roost of Drakes, when basically you have the enabler and payoff in one card. And that's always worked because you just need to draw one card and it does it all over several turns. This one just puts a couple of monoliths that fix your mana in any color, and you get to 8 very quickly if you put them every turn, and then you start using the 8 ability, and basically you just cast a free spell every turn, and you can select it from 4. I mean, what's there not to like about this guy?
Yeah, agree. What grade would you give it?
I'd give it a B plus.
Yeah. Fair. Again, we're splitting hairs here. But I was just wondering, like, how does it compare to the other uncommon multicolor cards? I definitely think it's one of the better ones, right?
I think so. Off the top of my head, maybe the black white one is similar.
Yeah, I think the black white one is similar.
Because the black white one is also the same thing. It's an enabler and a reward. When you cast 2 spells, you get a second spell for the next turn. I mean, this is
Yeah, no, agree. I was wondering whether both the blue white one and the red blue one uh make you draw cards, right? Both the bird and the excess damage one. I think those are also pretty strong.
I do like the white blue one. I think that I like the red blue one less, not because the card is less powerful, but it has less support and it needs some support because it needs the spells.
Yeah, for sure.
It will not draw the cards on its own. That's the thing.
Those aren't the Roost of Drakes all-in-one type packages like Swella is, but I think drawing card is a very strong effect.
Vega can be like Roost of Drakes, I think, but the problem it has, it's just a 2/2.
Yeah, no,
and it's much easier to kill a 2/2 than to kill a 2/4.
2/4, yeah. This is quite a decent blocker actually. Not sure whether you're going to block with it a lot, but definitely a nice blocker.
Yeah, you protect it once with the snakeskin veil, and it becomes a 3/5, and then only really hard removal and stomp will kill it.
Yeah, fair enough. Would you let's say you have a Swella on the board and your opponent is attacking into it with 2/1s anyway. Are we playing around the trick there, or are we just throwing our Swella into the mix?
If I can afford, I would just take the damage.
Yeah, you're one of those.
I'm one of those. I think that, because I know that this card is going to win the game later for me. And if they attack, they probably have a trick, or they are
very good at bluffing.
Because if they could kill it, they would have killed it.
Yeah, no.
Because this is the card that you want to kill anyway.
Yeah. No, fair enough. The Scary Firewalker, there are 2 here. I think that's a card we also saw in the Rakdos deck, if I remember correctly, due to it being a Berserker most of the time. Well, why is it here?
And here it's for a different reason. Here it's just a card draw engine. I think that if you want to play the mid-range deck, you want to have ways of drawing cards, and unfortunately, red-green doesn't have that many things that can draw them cards. There's a 3/3, but it only draws you 1 card. And I think that this one replaces itself very much like the Horizon Seeker does, but actually draws you a real spell in the later game. And again, if you put a Raven Wings on it, you can start casting your spells from the top of your library after the attacks, and then keep the stuff in your hand for later when you cannot play anything with this one. So it's a very similar mechanism, but better because it actually draws you the potentially a spell.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. GS in chat mentions that Swella abilities are also instant speed. So that's especially on on the second one. That's very nice.
Attack into a 8-mana untapped and spell on board. Go ahead and make my day, and I drop you a 6/6 honey mammoth and block whatever you bring.
Yep. Again, 2 packmates here. I think we discussed those quite a lot. Let's move over to the Spirit of Aldergard, which we also saw in your Simic deck. It's 4 mana, 3 colorless and a green. It's a snow creature, bear spirit. It's a 0/4, but it has some lines of text. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a snowland card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. And it also gets +1/+0 for each snow permanent you control. So it itself is a snow
permanent, which is
snow permanent. It itself is a snow creature, so that's already a 1/4. And every
no, it's for each other, so it doesn't count itself, which is a minor drawback. But
you're totally correct. It is not a 1/4 by itself. Yeah, it needs actually.
But it's still good enough in this deck. I mean, it will still be a 4/4 almost all the time. So.
Yeah, for sure. But
hopefully it will be something like 11 for trample with the dwarven hammer on it, and
screenshot worthy moments in limit.
Definitely, and the fact that it brings the land and fixes your mana is a great thing.
Yeah. Again, the fixing.
Especially when you play it, you can actually plan around drawing one of the tap lands because maybe you have a good window of opportunity to play them next turn or something, or after you cast it. And you don't lose that much by playing a tap land, and you reduce because you're going to have, if you want to play a heavier snow deck, you're going to play quite a lot of tap lands, and that's a problem. So picking the right spots when you can cast them, when you can play them without too much damage to your mana, to your gameplay, it's a good thing.
Yeah, very sweet card, I think. Spirit of the Aldergard. There's a Hagi mob here. I think that's the first time we see that spell in one of our color pairs. Very nice.
Decent creature.
Yeah, decent creature. 5/4 for 5.
I generally want to have some 5/5, 5/4, 6/6s in this deck just to load the heavier part of the mana curve and play something impactful after the dirtling in the early game.
Yeah,
it can be probably replaced with the 5/5 vanilla elf. Honey Mammoth is also good because it brings you back some life because you're not so quick as normally you would be. You might be already down a couple of life. So those kind of things will be good.
Yeah, and I also like that it has it gives you a way of spending your mana and doing something relevant, right?
Exactly.
Which is nice. So I like it.
Like very often in Zendikar, when I played those kind of big Naya landfall decks, the most important card in my deck was Kite Sail, because I played those big things, I gave them flying, and that's how I won.
Yeah.
And Raven Wings are going to play the same role with the Hagi mob, and at the same time I can ping a 1/1 on the board on the ground, or actually it can deal damage to the player as well. Can it?
Any target, yes.
Yeah. So it's an extra damage that I can deal from it. It's just like a little synergy. So actually, this particular build has this little boast synergy package with the Raven Wings.
Yeah, mind it. You can only do boast once a turn, right? So it's not like you can pump 8 mana into this.
Do I look like Mr. Metronome to you?
No. You look way smarter. I also like the highly intellectual flavor text on this card.
What does it say?
Something like that.
Oh, it's just speaking Dutch. It just says graag.
It's very close to the Dutch variant of please, yes.
It wants to say graag gedaan,
but
it probably adds super de boer after that, but no.
Another common we haven't seen yet in one of our color pairs, it's the Ravenous Lindworm. It's a 6 mana card for 4 colorless and 2 green mana. It's a creature worm, a 6/6. Reminds me a bit of a very friendly dino that this set is missing. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life. So that's a throwback to the mammoth.
It's a honey mammoth, basically. Yeah, functional replay. Strictly better in your worm tribal. but in other decks probably is just the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this is, on hindsight, a much more important card for this deck than I thought initially. I think that the 6/6 is almost unassailable stats, and the 4 life is stabilizing you. And I think that as this build is, you would be reliably able to cast it on turn 5, because you have some ways of ramping in this deck. You can play the Glittering Frost, you can untap a Snowland with the Sculptor, you can maybe put one token with them, one Monolith with the Svella. I mean, and the 6/6 gain 4 life is stabilizing you like amazingly.
Yeah.
So I think that this one actually can be a very important player in this red-green, since it's more controlly than it used to be before.
Yeah. We have a Dutch in Dutch a lintworm is the type of worm that you have in your belly. That's probably not
like is that the flat one, like the tapeworm?
Yeah, it's like the one that's probably not the lintworm that we're mentioning here, right?
Yeah, but I mean, this set is clearly Dutch inspired. There's the Bergstrider,
Bergstrider,
there's
the lintworm. But there's the Hagimop saying graag.
The Hagimop saying graag gedaan.
I mean,
yeah, no, that's definitely the Dutch have impacted Magic the Gathering probably the most since the Cornelissen brothers.
I also like the Oko reference here with the two deers. It's nice. The elks here in the front.
That they put elks anywhere now.
Yeah.
Because every creature can turn into elk at any moment.
And the lintworm will ravenous them. Yeah, for sure. I also see the uncommon land here. Gnotvold Slumbermount. That's
or Gnotvold.
Gnot. Indeed.
And
it's a red tap land.
Slumbermont. It sounds like some kind of village in Limburg.
Could be, for sure. It's a red tap land, and it says sacrifice it, pay a combination of mana, destroy target land. Okay, if you do this and you kill the uncommon land of your opponent, that's rather strong, I think. And
exactly.
And at the same time, you create a 4/4 green troll warrior creature token with trample, which is also not bad.
It's great. It's great in this deck because you're gonna ramp anyway, and you can play probably 2 of them in this particular build if you get your hands on it.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you get the Red Saga, this is also a great way of removing one of the lands of your opponent, then playing the other card, removing another land, and you can actually mana screw them in a sort of way.
Yeah, for sure. Kill their snowlands is relevant.
I didn't build it, but I think that there might be some kind of land distraction Ponza kind of style deck if you get the right cards.
I hope not.
You have the instant for 4 mana that destroys artifact or land.
Yeah.
You have these uncommon lands that you can tap and destroy a land, and you have the rare saga in red-green that destroys a land and brings back a land from the graveyard of the opponent under your control, and then makes 4/4 trolls equals to the number of your lands minus number of their lands. And I think that there might be a fun build around.
Yeah.
And by fun, I mean one person is going to have fun.
Right. And the other one is going to start a new game on Arena pretty soonish after.
Yeah, exactly. And this probably is not a deck that is going to win a lot, but you can probably build it somewhat interestingly. But
right.
It's going to smash through the snow decks because you're just going to destroy every snow land that they play, and what can they do without their ways of activating their precious payoffs?
Fully agree. I think it needing a rare and an uncommon to really
this is going to be a very rare thing.
It's not.
But I'm pretty sure that you can get as many of the land destruction cards as they're open on the pot. No one is going to draft them.
Oh,
so
sure.
Once you first pick the rare and then you focus on the uncommons, then you can get the rest of the cards.
Yeah, agree. Okay, I'm looking forward to the screenshot on Twitter of the first person who actually managed to.
It's probably going to be me, and then the tweet will start with, "Okay, I went 1-3 with this, but."
But the one win that I got was really epic. Hear me out.
I didn't get a good game from my opponent after I finished.